and welcome into the Barbara Williams Softball Complex. I'm Joseph Moore. Today we have the HBCU Celebration Classic. For the matchup here today between the South Carolina State Bulldogs and your Alabama State Lady Hornets. Let's go ahead and give your starting lineups for the South Carolina State Lady Bulldogs, who come in the season 0-3. At right fielder, number 1, Madison Boyd. At left field, number 3, Jade Hendricks. At second base, number 10, Taylor Alexander. At designated hitter, number 17, Destiny Calloway. At first baseman, number 19, Deasia Lowther. At shortstop, number 8, Aaliyah Felder. At third baseman, number 7, Marissa Marshall. At catcher, number 13, Kylie Nelson. And at center field, number 4, Amari Gist. Your starting pitcher for South Carolina State is Kanaya Miller. And now your Alabama State Hornets, who come in 5-3 on the year. They had a big win Wednesday night in a doubleheader against Albany State. And here's our starting lineups. At left field, number 2, Madison Myers. At center field, number 1, Kendall Doremus. At right field, number 5, Alexia Denby. At designated hitter, number 27, Alex Preston. At catcher, number 4, Lauren Mayer. At third baseman, number 22, Kiana Parrish. At pitcher, number 3, Bailey Greenlee. At first base, number 12, Leah Richardson. And finally, at second base, number 14, Jada Gardner. Your starting pitcher for Alabama State with a 1.17 ERA, who comes in 3-1 on the year, number 3, Bailey Greenlee. And we're about to get started here at the Barbara Williams Sports Complex, Softball Complex, for the game today in the HBCU Celebration Classic between Alabama State and South Carolina State. And we're going to get ready for the first pitch here by Bailey Greenlee. And the first pitch is called strike. First pitch time is 4:31 and 76 degrees here in Montgomery. Up first for South Carolina State, Madison Boyd. And the first pitch was called strike. And right now 0-2. And tip back by Madison Boyd. And let's see if Bailey can get her out right here. And the pitch just outside the left corner is called ball. Top of the first inning here in Montgomery, count 1-2 for Myers. And the 1-2 pitch is called strike. 3 strikes and Madison Myers is out. That'll be 1 out. Up to bat for South Carolina State. Next is Jade Hendricks. Again, Bailey Greenlee with a 1.17 ERA. And the first pitch is called strike, 0-1. And the 0-1 pitch is fouled back, strike 2. here in the top of the first inning, opening up here in Montgomery. One out. And the 0-2 pitch is just a little bit high for Hendricks. 1-2 the count. One and two the count, one out. And Bailey with the 1-2 pitch and called strike. 2 outs here for South Carolina State. Coming up next to bat for South Carolina State, Taylor Alexander. Two outs. And the first pitch is called strike. Again, strike two for Alexander. Could it be a 3-up, 3-down situation for the Hornets? 0-2 the count. The 0-2 pitch is fouled back. Alexander still trying to hang in there. Let's see what Greenlee's got here. The 0-2 pitch, just a little bit to the right side, outside of the right area of the plate. And the 1-2. Strike three. Lost it in the dirt. But they're going to wind up calling her out there. So 3 up, 3 down for Alabama State. We'll move to the bottom of the first inning. No score here in Montgomery. And welcome back to the first game of the HBCU Celebration Classic here in Montgomery as Alabama State is taking on South Carolina State. It's time for Alabama State to be up to bat now. Up first, the left fielder, number 2, Madison Myers. Kanaya Miller with the first pitch, almost hit her. but was up high. She managed to get out of the way there. It'll be 1 ball, no strikes. And Miller with a 1-0 count, called strike. And Miller with the 1-1 pitch is hit to left field. And Myers gets on first. Good start for Alabama State. Got a runner on first base. It'll reset it with no balls and no strikes. Coming up next to bat, the center fielder, number 1, Kendall Doremus. And Miller with the 1-1 pitch. Doremus tried to go for the bunt there, but it makes it 1 ball and no strikes. And the 1-0 pitch is 1-1. No outs here. Bottom of the second. Got a runner on first. And Myers gets over to second base for the steal. Two and one the count. Two and one the count. And is hit to the second baseman. Throws to first. And we've got 1 out for Alabama State. That moves Myers over to third. Up next, in the third spot, number 5, right fielder, Alexia Denby. Denby comes in with a .438 batting average on the year. And the first pitch is called ball. Want to know the count. 1 out. Runner on third. And the 1-0 pitch is called strike. And the 1-2 is fouled back. Denby with 1 and 2 up to bat. And the 1-2 pitch, just a little bit high. 2 and 2 the count. Miller with the 2-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, full count. And the 3-2. Low and inside. And that'll move Denby over to first. Still got a lady on third base. And coming up to bat, number 27, the designated hitter, Alex Preston. Alex Preston with a .500 batting average. She had a big game against Albany State earlier in the week. And the first pitch is called strike, and tried to get Myers stealing, but is safe at third. One out, bottom of the first. The 0-1, inside and low, ball one. And fouled back. 2 strikes on Preston right now. Runner on second and third. And the 1-2 is low. Ball 2. Let's see if Preston can bring Myers around. The 2-2 is fouled back way out of left field. Still 2 strikes. Preston hanging in there with 2 strikes. Miller with the 2-2. Inside, full count. Only 1 out for Alabama State. And the 3-2. Knocked back out, almost in the dugout of the Lady Hornets. Three-two the count. She's definitely going to have to guard the plate right here. The 3-2. Still at bat. Knocked it back again into the Alabama State dugout. The 3-2. And bases now are loaded. You've got Myers. Myers still on third. You've got DeRamus on second. Correction, you got Alex Preston on first. Myers on third, and Denby still on second. Up next, the catcher, number 4, Lauren Mayer. It'd be nice to bring all of these ladies around. And Miller with the pitch. Called strike. Count now 0-1. Miller with the 0-1. Low and inside. 1-1 the count. One and one the count. The 1-1 pitch. Right there on the corner, called strike. 1-2 the count. Still with only one out here in the bottom of the first inning. The 1-2. Foul ball into the South Carolina State bullpen. And let's remind our viewers of the dimensions here at the Barbara Williams Softball Complex. 200 in right and left field and 225 out in center. Miller with the 1-2. Low and inside. Ball 2. Mayer up to bat. The 2-2 is knocked to the third baseman. They're trying to get Myers. Got her out at home. That still leaves bases loaded. 2 outs for Alabama State. Up to bat now, Kiana Parrish, the third baseman. And the first pitch is called strike. Seems like Miller every time. If she's going to get the right corner of the base, they've been calling it strike the whole time. Miller with the 0-1. Just a little bit outside there. Count now 1-1. Two outs, bases loaded. The 1-1 is fouled back into the Hornet bullpen. Miller with the 1-2. Woo. Little low, just a tad outside the plate. Now the count 2-2. 2 outs. Miller with the 2-2, and it's hit. Foul ball into right field. Count now still 2-2. Miller again with the 2-2 is knocked out into left and out with 2 outs. With no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and definitely did not need to leave 3 on base. We will head to the top of the first inning. No score here in the HBCU Celebration Classic. Joseph Moore back here at the first game of the HBCU Celebration Classic here in Montgomery. South Carolina State and Alabama State up to bat. In the 4th hole, number 17, designated hitter Destiny Callaway, and the first pitch is called strike. And the second pitch is in the dirt, ball 1. And the next pitch is called ball 2. And the 2-1. Did she go? That'll be two strikes, 2 balls. Count now 2-2 for Callaway. And the 2-2. And Greenlee will sit down Callaway. Up to bat, number 19, the first baseman, Deasia Lowther. And Lowther tries to go for the bunt. And that'll be 0-1. And the 0-1 is called strike. Now count 0-2. Greenlee with the 0-2 and sits her down. That will sit Lowther down. 2 outs. Up to bat now, number 8, shortstop, Aaliyah Felder. I know the game is early, but Greenlee having a good game here. And the count 1-0. And again, 1-1. And the count now 1-2 for Felder. And foul ball. Count now 1-2. 2 outs. And a fly ball in foul territory and caught. And as we move to the middle of the second inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, no left on base. We move to the bottom of the second inning, no score. Back live here at the HBCU Celebration Classic, no score as we move to the bottom of the second inning. And Miller with the first pitch is called ball. Up to bat for Alabama State. We're in the 7, 8, and 9 holes. Up to bat, number 3, pitcher Bailey Greenlee. And the count, 1-1. Miller with the 1-1. And hit. Kind of fumbles it as the second baseman. And that'll put Greenlee over to first base. And coming up to bat, number 12, the first baseman, Leah Richardson. She's batting 1,000 coming into this game. And the pitch is 0-1. And Miller with the 0-1. Hit to the shortstop, out at second. Does she get it back to first? Safe at first. One out. And that'll bring up number 14, second baseman, Jada Gardner. One out here in the bottom of the second. And the pitch is called. One strike. And Miller with the 0-1. Called ball. Gardner tried to go for the quick bunt. And we're going to bring in a pinch runner. Number 9, Jordan Capel, going to head over to first base. Gardner with a count of 2-0. And Miller with the 2-0. Called strike there right on the corner. 2-1 the count with only one out. And hits it over to the third baseman. And that'll move the runner to second. Two on base. And we reach the top of the lineup here, number 2, Madison Myers. Miller with the pitch, called strike. Myers with a count of 0-1. And the 0-1, little high there. Count now 1-1. And the 1-1 hit to the third baseman and gets her out at first. That then moves to second and third. Still only one out. Coming up, number 1, Kendall Doremus. And with the pitch, hit towards the third baseman, but knocked foul. Owen won the count. Miller with the 0-1. And just outside of the corner of the plate. That'll be 2-1 the count. The 2-1. 3-1 the count. Miller with the 3-1. Thought that might have been ball 4. That'll move it to full count. And count now, 3-2. Full count. And the 3-2 is knocked to the shortstop, but went past her. And will she be out? And out at home is Gardner. And gonna argue the call here. And let's see what the umpire is gonna give. But it looks like the catcher was guarding the plate, obstructing the plate, but no call there. And at the bottom of 2, no runs, 2 hits, no errors. And 2 left on base. We move to the top of the third. Alabama State has a 1-0 lead. We'll be right back after this. Joseph Moore back live here for the first game of the HBCU Celebration Classic. South Carolina State up to play, up to bat. Alabama State holding on to a 1-0 lead here. Up to bat for Alabama State. Top of the lineup, Madison Boyd. And the first pitch is called ball. And the second pitch, the 1-1 pitch, is popped up and out by the second baseman, Jada Gardner. One out for South Carolina State. And up to bat, number 13, Kylie Nelson, the catcher. One out. Top of the third. And the count 0-2. And the 0-2 struck her out. And that'll be 2 outs for the Lady Hornets. Up to bat, number 4, Amari Gist. If they get a chance, up to bat. They're in the 9th spot. They'll be at the top of the lineup after this. But right now, 2 outs. And the count now, 2-0. 2 outs. And the 2-0 is fouled out on the bunt. Count now 2-0. And the 2-0 bunted to the third baseman and thrown out at first base. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, no left on base. We move to the bottom of the third. Your score, Alabama State 1, South Carolina State 0. after a little delay, we finally move to the bottom of the third inning with no hits, no runs, no errors, none left on base. We finally move to the bottom of the third inning. Alabama State 1, South Carolina State 0. And welcome back to Montgomery for the first game of the HBCU Celebration Classic. Alabama State with a 1-0 lead as we move to the bottom of the third inning. And we've got a little delay. And we'll eventually get going again. And coming up to bat, number 5, Alexia Denby. And Miller with the pitch, popped up almost into our press box here. Count now 0-1. And Miller with the 0-1. Hit to the shortstop, and will she be thrown out at first? Yes, she will. That'll be 1 out. And coming up to bat, number 27, Alex Preston. And the first pitch is fouled back. 0-1 the count. Pretty decent defensive game so far. And the 0-1 is called ball. Let's see if Alabama State can get some runs around. So far, they've left a few on the bag. Miller with the 1-1. A little bit high there. Count now 2-1. the one thing we've seen with the pitchers so far, they have the plays on their wrist. The 2-1 hit to the pitcher and gets Preston out at first. 2 outs for Alabama State. Bottom of the third inning, 2 outs. Alabama State still leads 1-0. Up to bat, number 4, the catcher, Lauren Maurer. So far, 2 outs. First pitch is called strike. Maurer batting .500 on the year. Miller with the 0-1. A little bit inside. Low and inside. Count now 1-1. Score still 1-0. The 1-1. A little bit outside. Might have just tipped the corner, but so far it's 2-1. Miller with the 2-1. And hit to the third baseman and out at first. 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base. We move to the top of the 4th. Alabama State 1, South Carolina State 0. And back here in Montgomery for the first game of the HBCU Celebration Classic, we move to the top of the 4th inning. Alabama State holding on to a 1-0 lead. Up to bat for South Carolina State. Top of the lineup for the Bulldogs, Madison Boyd. And the first pitch is fouled back. Strike 1. And Greenlee with the 0-1 is called strike. 0-2 the count. Top of the 4th inning, 1-0 your score. And the 0-2 goes for it. And Greenlee sits her down. And we come up second in the lineup. Number 3, Jade Hendricks for South Carolina State. 1 out. Greenlee with the first pitch. Called ball. 1-0 the count for Hendricks. And Greenlee with the 1-0 is fouled back. Strike one. One and one the count. One out. Greenlee with the 1-1. And Hendricks tries to go for the bunt. And that'll put two strikes. One and two the count. One out. Top of the fourth inning. And Greenlee with a 1-2. Little bit high. Count now 2-2. 2-2 the count. Greenlee with a 2-2. Strike three. 2 outs. That'll sit Hendricks down and bring up number 10, second baseman Taylor Alexander. Two outs. And the first pitch is called strike. And the 0-1 is called ball. Two outs now with the 1-1. Just a little bit high and outside for Greenlee. Two and one the count. And the 2-1 is called strike two. And the 2-2. Foul ball. And Greenlee with the 2-2 sits her down. So far, Greenlee has struck out the 1, 2, and 3 batters at the top of the lineup. We move to the bottom of the fourth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base. We move to the bottom of the fourth. Your score, Alabama State 1, South Carolina State 0. And welcome back to the first game of the HBCU Celebration Classic. Joseph Moore here as we move to the bottom of the fourth inning. Alabama State up to bat, leading 1-0. Right now they're in their 6, 7, 8, and 9 part of the lineup here. See if we can get some more runs here on the board. Up to bat, number 22, Kiana Parrish. And Miller's first pitch. And we've got a single hit by Parrish as it went towards center field. Up to bat, number 3, the pitcher, Bailey Greenlee. One nothing your score. Miller with the first pitch, bunted by Greenlee, and safe at first. That'll put Greenlee at first, and Parrish over to second. 2 runners on base. Up to bat, number 12, the first baseman, Leah Richardson. And we've got a little conference here. And it looks like we're going to bring in a pinch runner for Greenlee. Number 24, Zoe Disrow. One nothing your score. Got a runner on first and second for the Hornets. Richardson batting 1,000 coming into this game. And Miller with the first pitch. Richardson tried to bunt, but will be fouled out, fouled back. Count now 0-1. No outs. Bottom of the fourth inning. And Miller with the 0-1. Leah tried to go again there with a possible bunt, but called ball. One and one the count. One nothing your score. Alabama State leads. The 1-1 pitch is called ball. 2-1 the count with no outs. Miller with the 2-1. Richardson goes for the bunt and gets to the third baseman, and they call her out. And from what the umpire is saying, the first baseman got back on the bag. And we'll see if they take her off first. And we're going to have another conference here. So far right now, we've got bases loaded. but with a possible out. We'll see what they call, right, and they're going to call her out. From what the umpire was saying, the first baseman got back on the bag, kind of got on her tiptoes to make the catch, but got on the bag before the runner got there. So kind of a bang-bang play right there. 1 out. Up to bat, Jada Gardner. We're at the bottom of the lineup. Bottom of the 4th inning. Miller with the first pitch. He is called ball. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out, bottom of the 4th. Miller with the 1-0. Count now 2-0. One out. The 2-0 pitch. High and inside. Ball 3. Three and 0 the count. The 3-0. Called strike. Miller with the 3-1. Fouled back, full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Alabama State with only 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. The 3-2 is hit out into left field, but called foul. Count now still 3-2 with 1 out. Alabama State still holding on to a 1-0 lead over South Carolina State. And the 3-2 is called strike. No, excuse me, I thought he called strike. Did he? Yep, called strike. 2 outs. Two outs right now. Alabama State with a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And coming up to bat, we've got a pinch hitter, number 66, Kennedy Allsbrook. Two outs, bottom of the 4th. And the first pitch is called strike. And the 0-1, strike 2. 2 outs. Got a runner at second and third with 2 outs. Miller with the 0-2. High and outside. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the 1-2. Strike 3. We will move to the top of the 4th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on base. We move to the top of the 5th. Alabama State 1, South Carolina State 0. And welcome back to the HBCU Celebration Classic here in Montgomery. First game of the tournament here. As South Carolina State comes up to bat. Alabama State holding on to a 1-0 lead as we move to the top of the 5th inning. Up to bat for South Carolina State, the designated hitter, number 17, Destiny Calloway. Alabama State leads. And the first pitch by Greenlee is called ball. Little low and inside. One ball, no strikes, no outs. The 1-0 pitch is hit to the left field side, but called foul. 1-1 the count. And the 1-1 pitch. Will it go? And it is hit outside the park. And that will give South Carolina State the one run as the score is now tied 1-1 here in the top of the 5th inning. And up to bat for the Lady Bulldogs, number 19, first baseman, Deasia Lowther. South Carolina State hit a bomb out into left field, knocked over the fence. Greenlee with the first pitch, popped up in the air, caught by the third baseman, Kiana Parrish, and that will give the Bulldogs 1 out. 1-1 your score, 1 out. Up to bat, number 8 for the Lady Bulldogs, shortstop, Elea Felder. And the first pitch is called ball. Greenlee with the 1-0. Called strike. 1-1 the count. 1 out. And Greenlee with the 1-1. Inside. Ball 2. Greenlee with the 2-1 is hit out into right field, hit at the wall, makes her way around to second base for the double. Felder with the double. Only 1 out. And we've got time in on the field. Coming up to bat for South Carolina State. Number 7, Marissa Marshall. And the first pitch is called strike. And the 0-1 is bunted to the pitcher and out at first. 2 outs. Moves the runner over to third. Coming up for the Lady Bulldogs, number 13, Kylie Nelson. And the first pitch is fouled back. Yeah. And Greenlee with the 0-1. Little high there. Count now 1-1. And Greenlee with a 1-1 called strike. 1-2 the count with 2 outs. Greenlee with a 1-2, fouled back at the top of the net. Count still 1-2 with 2 outs. 1-2. Strike 3. And with 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors, and 1 left on base, we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Your score tied 1-1. And welcome back to the HBCU Celebration Classic, Game 1. Alabama State and South Carolina State both tied at 1 as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. And coming up to bat for Alabama State in the 3-hole, number 5, Alexia Denby. Correction, Kendall DeRamus. And the first pitch is called strike. Miller with the 0-1. A little bit inside there. Ball 1. And Miller with the 1-1. Hit towards the first baseman, but fouled out. Count now 1-2. Miller with the 1-2 and hit towards the pitcher, but out at first. One out. Coming up to bat, number 5, Alexia Denby. Miller looking back to her wrist. You'll see that a lot in college softball. The first pitch popped up into center field and caught by the center fielder. That'll be 2 outs. And coming up in the fourth spot, designated hitter number 27, Alex Preston. It's been a good defensive game here so far. Count now 1-0 for Preston. So far the count now 1-0. Miller with the 1-0 called strike. The problem that we've seen so far here tonight is that just the runners that have been left on base, but so far both teams have had a good defensive showdown. Miller with the 1-1 called strike again. I'm telling you, the umpire is definitely calling it on the corner here tonight. Miller with the 1-2. Fouled back. And Miller, 1-2 the count. The 1-2. Just outside. She has been nailing the corner of the plate all night. Count now 2-2. And popped up into the stands. Still hanging in there. Count now 2-2. Two and two the count. Hit to the shortstop. Thrown over to first. 3 outs for Alabama State. We move to the top of the 6th with no runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base. Alabama State 1, South Carolina State 1. We'll be right back after this timeout. And back here in Montgomery for Game 1 of the HBCU Celebration Classic. Alabama State and South Carolina State are tied at 1 as we move to the top of the 6th inning. And the first pitch by Greenlee is called strike. And the 0-1 is fouled back. Strike two. South Carolina State at the top of the lineup. Madison Boyd up to bat. I'm sorry, correction. Amari Gist up to bat for the Bulldogs. And Greenlee will send her back to the dugout with one out. And they reach the top of their lineup. Up to bat number one, right fielder Madison Boyd. One out. And the first pitch is called ball. And the 1-0 in the dirt, ball two. Top of the sixth inning, 2-0 the count. And Boyd went for the bunt, and it cost her. Strike one. Count now 2-1 for the Lady Bulldogs. And the 2-1 pitch is fouled back. 2-2 the count with one out. Alabama State 1, South Carolina State 1. And the 2-2 is hit to the shortstop and safe at first is Boyd. Still with one out. Up to bat, number 3, Jade Hendricks. Greenlee with the first pitch, called strike. Greenlee with the 0-1, tries to go for the bunt. And called out is Hendricks. 2 outs. 1-1 still your score. 2 outs for Alabama State. Top of the 6th inning, 1-1 your score. Up to bat, number 10, the second baseman, Taylor Alexander. Right now, they're in the third part of their lineup. 4, 5, and 6 coming up next. First pitch, called strike. Greenlee with the 0-1, called strike 2. Oh, 2 the count, 2 outs, 1-1 your score. Greenlee with the 0-2, fouled back by Alexander. 0-2 the count. The 0-2 right at the corner and tries to steal. Does Boyd. And she makes her way over to second base with the steal. Right now, we've got a runner on second for the Bulldogs. Greenlee with the 0-2 pitch. Strike three. South Carolina State leaves one runner on base with no runs, 1 hits, no errors, 1 left on base. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Your score tied at 1 between Alabama State and South Carolina State. We'll be back with more of the HBCU Celebration Classic after this. And welcome back to Game 1 of the HBCU Celebration Classic. Alabama State and South Carolina State. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning. New pitcher in for South Carolina State, Destiny Callaway. And up to bat for Alabama State, number 4, Lauren Mayer. Count now 0-1 here in the bottom of the 6th, no outs. The 0-1 pitch is called ball. A little bit in the dirt there. Count now 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch is called foul. 1-2 the count for Mayer. And the 1-2. A little bit inside there. Thought they had her out. Count now 2-2. Callaway with the 2-2 pitch. Called ball. Full count for Mayer. Full count, 3-2. Callaway with the 3-2. Hit past Callaway to the shortstop. And safe At first is Mayer. That'll bring up number 22, Kiana Parrish. 1-1 your score, no outs. Got a runner on first. And the first pitch is bunted back. Foul ball. 0-1 the count. Callaway with the 0-1. And bunted back by Parrish. 0-2 the count. To the count. No outs. The 0-2. Outside. 1-2 the count. Bottom of the 6th inning. No outs. One runner on first. Right now the count 1-2. The 1-2. Fouled back out of the complex. Still 1-2. Callaway with the 1-2. Hits Parrish. And that'll move her to first base with the walk. And that will now leave 2 runners on base. And we move to the 7, 8, and 9 part of the lineup with the pitcher, number 3, Bailey Greenlee, up to bat. Callaway with the first pitch is bunted. Good bunt. Thrown to first. Safe at first. And we now have bases loaded with the scoring run at 4 at third base with number 4, Lauren Mayer. Bases loaded. Right now in the bottom of the 6th inning, bases loaded for the Lady Hornets. We move to the 8 and 9 part of the lineup with Leah Richardson up to bat. One your score, bases loaded. And the first pitch is called strike. 0-1 the count. Callaway with the 0-1. Oh my goodness. Strike 2. Oh, and 2 the count. Bases loaded. And hit to the third baseman. Throws to home plate. With 1 out. That was Mayer who got out at home. Still leaves bases loaded with 1 out. Up to bat now, number 14, Jada Gardner. Callaway with the first pitch is hit again to the third baseman. Gets another runner at home base out. That'll be 2 outs for Alabama State. We move to the top of the lineup. Number 2, Madison Myers. Again, bases loaded. First pitch, called strike. Oh and 1. Strike 2. Oh and 2 the count for Myers. 2 outs. Callaway with the 0-2. Hit again to the third baseman. Bobbles. And it looked to be hit on the baseline. And they did call it foul. Oh and 2 the count. 1-1 your score, 2 outs, bases loaded. The 0-2 hit to the shortstop and out at first. Again with bases loaded, could not execute. We move to the top of the 7th inning with no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 3 left on base. We move to the top of the 7th inning. Your score, Alabama State 1, South Carolina State 1. Back live here in the top of the 7th inning. South Carolina State 1, Alabama State 1. Up to bat for the Lady Bulldogs, number 17, Destiny Calloway. And the first pitch by Greenlee is called ball. Greenlee with a 1-0 is hit into left field, and that'll be out number 1 for the Lady Bulldogs, for the Lady Hornets. And up to bat, we've got 5, 6, and 7 in the lineup. Number 19, the first baseman, Deasia Lowther. 1 out. First pitch is called strike. 0-1 the count. And the 0-1 is popped back behind us in the press box. That'll be 0-2 the count. And the 0-2 is called ball. 1-2 the count. Top of the 7th inning. Tied at 1. The 1-2 fouled back into the net near the Lady Bulldogs dugout. Count now still 1-2. And the 1-2 still fouled back again behind the press box. Greenlee still has a 1-2 pitch count. And the 1-2. Now 2-2. The 2-2. Strike 3. 2 outs. Now in the 6, 7, 8, and 9 part of the lineup, Aaliyah Felder, the shortstop. 2 outs. First pitch, called strike. The 0-1. Little wild pitch there. Count 1-1. The 0-1. Count. The 1-1. Now 2-1. Top of the 7th inning. 2 outs. And a hit into left field. That'll put a runner on first base. Felder onto first base. Up to bat, number 7, third baseman, Marissa Marshall. 2 outs. 1 runner on base. Greenlee with the first pitch, called ball. The 1-0. Looked like high and on the corner. Count now 2-0. Greenlee with a 2-0. 3 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Tie score 1-1. Three and 0 the count with 2 outs. And the 3-0. Strike 1. And the 3-1. Walks her. That'll move a runner to first and then to second. Two outs. 1-1 tie game. Greenlee with the first pitch, called strike. The 0-1 popped up to the second baseman, and that'll be out number 3. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning with no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 3 left on base. With correction, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on base. We move to the bottom of the 7th inning. South Carolina State 1, Alabama State 1. And welcome back to Game 1 of the HBCU Celebration Classic. We move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Up to bat for Alabama State, number 1, center fielder Kendall Doremus. And the first pitch came close to hitting her. I would say it was pretty close. But the count now 1-0. Callaway with the 1-1 count now. No outs. Tie score 1-1. Alabama State at the top of their lineup. And the 1-1 pitch is bunted. And Doremus gets to first base. And that'll bring up number 5, Alexia Denby. Callaway with the first pitch and bunted, but in foul territory. That'll bring up strike 1. The 0-1 fouled back into the dugout, near the dugout. Count now 0-2. The 0-2 and safe at second is Doremus. That'll put Doremus at second. No outs. Count 1-2. Let's see if they send her to third. The 1-2 fouled back in the left field area. Count still 1-2. Callaway with the 1-2. And Doremus tried to steal third, but thought better of it. Went back to second base. The 2-2 fouled back again. Denby still in there with 2 strikes. Your score. First game of the Celebration Classic. Callaway with the 2-2 and hit. Out. Hits the wall. The top of the right field wall. That will put Denby at second. Still with Doremus at third. I mean, it hit the top, the white part of the padding in the outfield, in the right part of the outfield. right field. Man, I thought it was out of there. No outs, 2 runners, 1 on second and 1 on third. The first pitch by Callaway, called strike. And the 0-1 is hit on the baseline. That will send one hit. That will make the final score Alabama State 2, South Carolina State 1, and the first game of the HBCU Celebration Classic. What a game to end it. Your score 2-1. We have the next game to round out with Florida A&M versus Southern. Hang around here on the HBCU Celebration Classic. We'll have the video coverage of that game coming up in about 30 minutes. With your final score, Alabama State 2, South Carolina State 1. This has been Joseph Moore in the press box at the Barbara Williams Softball Complex. We'll have the next game with Florida A&M and Southern in about 30 minutes. Thank you and have a great night.